Good morning, and welcome to Thursday, and welcome to 5 Minutes a Day with God. And so we've started the plagues, and yesterday we looked at blood, and today we are going to look at the plagues of frogs. And so this is found in Exodus 8:1-15. And again, the plagues are the answer to the statement that Pharaoh says, I don't know who the Lord is. Who is this Lord? And God is saying, you are going to know by the end of this that I am the Lord. And so we're going to see God's power revealed through this, and as he goes after their gods as well. So go ahead and read that on your own, Exodus 8:1-15. And so God gives Pharaoh the opportunity to do the right thing, and he doesn't. And so the blood lasted for 7 days, and then he had an opportunity to come to them and say, okay, you can go now. And so he didn't, and so God is going to send another consequence. And so the next plague, again, is frogs, and it covers the territory, all the territories in the rivers, in the houses, in the bedrooms, in the kitchens, basically everywhere. And the plague of frogs, God is going after the deity of the Egyptian goddess Hekek. And Hekek was pictured with the head of a frog. So it's this goddess, and then her head is a frog. And what I didn't realize before I studied this time around is that the frogs were considered sacred, and so they weren't allowed to kill the frogs. So I thought that was interesting as well, that God is sending them a plague that they can't do anything about, right? They can't go and try to start exterminating the frogs or even killing them, from the area that they are. So they are just plagued, like literally surrounded by these frogs that they can't, that their hands are tied basically, and physically getting rid of them. And so I never thought that before, heard that before, so that's just good to know that. So the magicians, again, they do the same thing. They bring more frogs, but through the power of Satan. But again, what they're doing is that they're making the problem worse, right? Because there's already so many frogs, and now they're bringing more frogs, right? And so again, the magicians are not seeing that really the power would be to take away the plague, but they cannot do that. Satan's power again is not more powerful than God. So here we see a little, not softening, but we see Pharaoh coming to Aaron and Moses and kind of relenting a little bit. And because we think about here is how hard is Pharaoh's heart? Like, it's miserable for all his people, like not just him, but everybody is miserable. Everybody is plagued with this. And so he goes to them and he says, okay, he says, I'll let your people go. Go tell God to, stop this plague. And so Moses cries out to the Lord, and the frogs stop. And then they die. And then so they gather them into a large heap. And then now the land is stinking. So there's still a big problem. So now we have these piles of frogs, and it smells. But as soon as Pharaoh has relief from the plague, he hardens his heart and changes his mind. And so this becomes a pattern for him. So as we go through these, I want us to see a couple things. One, again, God's power that is displayed here, but also Pharaoh's response, because it's easy for us to go, okay, Pharaoh, what are you doing? But if we're honest, we can see ourselves in Pharaoh as well, because isn't that true that sometimes we go to God and we're like, God, please take this away, and then God does, God helps us, and then we go back to our own pattern of sin, right? And so that's the pattern that we'll see with Pharaoh. Is he's going to ask for mercy and relief, and he's going to get it, but then he's going to go back to his evil heart, because he's evil, right? He's showing that he's evil, that he wants to destroy God's people. He doesn't want freedom for them. He doesn't want good for them. He wants them under his power. And he's also, there's an arrogance that he's God, right? Because pharaohs believed that they were deities. And he is not going to submit under the power of Yahweh, of this God that he does not know. So there's a lot of arrogance here. We see a lot of cruelty in his heart, and God's going to go after that and display his power. All right, well, join me tomorrow as we look at a different plague. And remember, 5 minutes in the Word can change your life.